The Special Investigating Unit has been authorized to investigate allegations of maladministration and corruption at the National Student Financial Aid Scheme. We can speak now to SIU spokesperson Kaizer Kganyago, who's joining us live. Afternoon to you, sir. Thank you so much for being on Daytime Update. Let's begin with the scope of this investigation and what has prompted the proclamation by the President.
Good afternoon, Tumbikile. We received this proclamation today. It was gazetted today. It's proclamation number R88 of 2022. And what we expected to be investigating, it's two things. The first part, we are just going to be looking at the general management of the finances of NSFAS. And the second part that we are going to investigate is the allocation of loans, bursaries, and any other funding that is given to students in relation to the NSFAS Act, which is Act number 56 of 1999. Those are the two areas that we're going to look at.
The proclamation, of course, came from somewhere. For the benefit of people who've not been following the story of NSFAS, let's talk about where the first red flags came up, if you will, to get us here.
Yes, there were allegations that were brought to our attention that there are some people within NSFAS who are allocating firstly to their relatives and friends and whatever. And then there were also issues that came up around, you remember at that time when there was money that was given, big amounts of money that were given to students. And it started raising concerns about the management of NSFAS monies and then the loans and whether they are done in the proper way, whether they are done according to the Act. Therefore, those allegations were brought to our attention. And we then looked at them with the evidence that was provided. We sent the proclamation to the President, and we are pleased that today it was gazetted after the President has signed it.
Will this investigation go all the way to the highest levels of the NSFAS leadership structure?
No, definitely it will look into everything. Like I always say, we do not investigate people, but we investigate processes. And anybody that we find, because one of the things that we've got to look into is to investigate if there's any unlawful or proper conduct by employees or officials of NSFAS, which means it does anyone who might be found to have done anything, we will have to be dealt with. But also we've got time frames that are set. We will only have to look into this investigation from 1st of April 2016 up until today, which is the date of the proclamation being published. But if there's anything that might lead us before or after, we will follow it because the proclamation allows for that.
And how much time would you give yourself to do this sort of work? Because you and I have had this recurring conversation, right, where whenever these proclamations are made, many people look on eagerly and saying, when will we hear who's done what allegedly?
Now, we always try. One of the strategies that we've put in place is to make sure that investigations do not take long. And we've proven that, as you might have seen, that we have pushed most of the investigations and to do them quickly. We do not like giving time frames, but what we are going to do now, the proclamation was gazetted today, which means it now has to go to the relevant department who will then scope the investigation. Once they've scoped the investigation and we've received the documentation, because the first thing that is problematic is to get the documentation. If the documentation is not found, therefore it's not easy for us to scope how long it will take, but we will do that in the next week or so. And then after that, we'll have an idea. But we usually do not want investigations to go over a year of investigation.
I know you're investigating NSFAS as a single unit, right? But I'm curious because it's an institution that disburses funds to so many institutions, be it universities, TVET, colleges, if there are any specific ones that are in your sight.
At the moment, no. Like I said, when we are looking into the processes, if any of the processes lead us to go and investigate in those institutions, we will go there because the proclamation is clear that if there are any institution or entities that are involved, or people or employees, we will have to follow it to those areas.
Kaizer Kganyago, spokesperson for the SIU, thank you for your time, sir.